guys, thank you so much for tuning in again to my channel. This is Athena from Athena's Paranormal Mysteries, and let's get right to it. Today's episode is going to be about pregnancy and the heightened spiritual awareness one gets while being pregnant. One of the things that I really do believe in is that when a child is in your uterus, and because that child has not been born, their soul is in a different realm. And because their soul is in a different realm, you're carrying that baby. So you sometimes have situations that happen to you where you sense either entities or spirits, or have weird things happen to you, weird anomalies happening to you that you just can't explain. When I wanted to research about this topic, besides my own experience, I went online and I looked up spirituality, heightened spirituality and pregnancy, or things that have happened to pregnant women, and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything, not even on Reddit, and Reddit has everything. I mean, you can find literally any topic on Reddit. So I was just, my mind was boggled that I could not find anything on this topic. And my whole plan was to tell you my experiences and then say, oh, and this woman had this experience, that woman had that experience, but I can't do that now because I couldn't find anything. So now my plan is to tell you guys my experiences, and if you guys have ever been pregnant or know someone that's been pregnant, a friend, relative, what have you, and they've had these experiences, please shoot a comment below so I know that I'm not alone in this. I mean, that my theory is plausible somehow. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to tell you guys my experiences, and then you guys can definitely shoot out some comments telling me what you guys think, or whether you, like I said, know anyone that has had these situations happen to them. So the first thing that happened to me, it happened when I was pregnant with my firstborn. So what happened to me is that on around the 4-month mark, I had, the first thing that happened was I had this really, really scary dream. The baby's in a bassinet right next to my bed, and I'm sleeping in the bed. And there was some sort of healthcare worker or nanny or something that was in the house. I didn't recognize who this woman was. She walks in and she starts trying to hurt my baby. So I get up and I'm like, get out of here, leave us alone. Like I don't want you working here anymore. And then she turns around and she looks at me and she's just like, with like this death stare. It was so scary. So she ends up leaving. You know sometimes how in dreams you have a scene and then it just skips to another scene and it's as if you missed a whole thing, but you didn't see it in the dream, or maybe you did and you just don't remember when you wake up? That's what happened with this. So she leaves, and then all of a sudden, my husband comes home, and I run to him. I'm like, oh my God, Frank, this woman, the healthcare worker, she tried to hurt the baby, and I told her to leave, and then she came back, and she went under our bed, and she committed suicide. What the heck? Like, in the dream, this was known that she killed herself underneath the bed. And I'm like when I woke up, I was like, what the frig is that? So Frank comes around the bed towards the other side where the bassinet was here. He went towards the other side to and he's about to go look underneath the bed. And all we see is this water proceeding outwards from underneath the bed. And it's just slowly, it was like slowly just coming out, and that water felt so negative and so scary. I can't even explain it to you. There was something so sinister about that water edging out. You could tell it was obviously not a good thing, because there was a woman that just committed suicide underneath the bed. Oh my God. First of all, why? Why would she go under the bed and kill herself? That is so weird. It seemed like a weird ritual thing. The next thing that happened to me was at 6 months. And I talked about this before in my previous episodes, but I'll tell you again. I'll speak about it again just in case you haven't watched it. However, please go and watch those episodes as well. And comment and like and subscribe. But yeah, so at 6 months, I was at my mom's house, and at my mom's house, I was sleeping in the bedroom, in my mom's bedroom. My mom was sleeping on the couch, and that's because I was pregnant, so I like was able to sleep on the bed. But the thing is, because I move so much, my mom's like, okay, I'm not sleeping with you. I'm gonna sleep on the couch because at least I can like have some sort of shut eye there. So I'm sleeping on her bed, and I end up falling asleep with the lights on. I fall asleep with the lights on, and I wake up in a dream, and I'm in the exact same place. The lights are on, it's dark outside, but this time I wake up and I see there's a man standing at the corner of her room, and he's stuck like against the wall like this, and it's as if like he looks like he's scared, like he's like up against the wall like that. He looks scared, and he's holding a knife. And then I look at him and I see him, and he walks towards me. He holds me down. He holds my stomach, and he holds a knife to it. And he's like, "Don't move." And I remember everything about this guy. He had long hair, maybe up shoulder length, and it was tied back. And he was a heavy-set guy and a little bit scruffy. And I'm like sitting there terrified. Who the hell is this man? Why is he so upset with me? What have I done? And he tells me, don't move. And I'm like, okay. And he's looking at my stomach as if he's scared of my stomach. It was so weird. He's looking at my stomach and he's like that. And I was just like, okay. And then he slowly like backs away from me and he's like, don't you dare tell anybody about this. And I'm like, okay. So I come to run away. I come to run away from him, and all I feel is a douche on the back of my head, and it felt like he had hit me with a pot or something. When he hits me, I start vibrating, and then I wake up in my mom's bed. And I was like, oh my god, I was terrified. So like I was like freaking out. I was crying. I'm like, oh my god, like that was the worst dream ever. It was weird because if you guys have heard me speak about my astral projections, my astral projection situations where you wake up in the same space but different place, this was like that, but it was dreamlike. So it wasn't a dream and it wasn't an astral projection. It was somewhere in the middle. Then I had another instance when I was about 8 months pregnant. Same thing. I am sleeping in my bedroom, but I normally sleep on the left side of the bed. This time, for this one night, I slept on the right side of the bed. So I'm sleeping on that side, which is not normal for me. And I wake up again in the same space, different place. And I wake up and there's a guy that's holding me down. He's holding me down really, really hard. You know who he looked like? He looked like that comedian Chris something. What's his name? Chris, comedian Chris D'Elia. There we go. He looked kind of like this guy. Okay? This was how he kind of looked. Anyways, he was holding me down, and okay, I don't want to say this part to you guys, but I'm going to. Because, I mean, if I'm going to tell you the story, I'm going to tell you the whole story. Okay, this is really, really vile. He was holding me down and he was touching himself. And he was crying, saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And he was holding me down really, really tight, and I'm like, oh my god, what the heck's happening? What the heck's happening? So, like, it was just so messed up, so insane that this was happening. Again, I woke up in the dream where I'm sleeping on the right side of the bed, which I don't normally do. So it was literally, I was waking up in the same space, different place again. And there was a man beside my bed who was, you know, pleasing himself as if he was doing it uncontrollably, like it wasn't in his control and there was some sort of mental health issue there. And he was holding me down and he was apologizing profusely. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's when it hit me. What if that guy that I was seeing in my mom's house and this guy that I was seeing in my house, what if these are spirits who are somehow stuck and for some reason I was seeing this? What if I'm seeing something that they had issues with or something, or I'm being able to I'm able to sense these spirits and their troubles or whatever have you. I don't know. Maybe their troubles while they're alive. I don't know. I have no other way of explaining it. Because this stuff didn't happen to me before and it hasn't happened to me since. That was the second one. The third one, I think was my scariest. The one I just described to you was the most disturbing, but this one was right after I gave birth to my son. And I had just gotten a C-section, so it was hard for me to sleep on the bed. So I slept on the couch. The bassinet was next to my couch. And I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this. The bassinet was right next to my couch. And I wake up in that exact same scenario. Same space, different place. And I can see the kitchen reflection through the balcony door in from the couch. So I look and the kitchen lights were on. I forgot to turn them off and I passed out. The kitchen lights were on in real life. And I woke up in this dream or whatever have you. And I was again seeing the kitchen lights on. Everything else was dark, just like it had been when I fell asleep. So I look and the baby starts crying, and then I look and I see there's this random woman in my in the balcony reflection. So in the kitchen, she's standing in the kitchen, and as the baby's crying, I'm thinking, who the heck is that in my kitchen? And she turns through the kitchen reflection, through the balcony reflection. She looks at me and she's like, "It's okay, I'll take care of him." And I remember that at that point, for some reason, I felt heavy. I fell to the ground and I'm scraping myself towards the bassinet. And it was literally the scariest feeling ever, because I'm like, who is this woman that is in my kitchen? And she's staring at me, telling me she's gonna feed the baby. That was one of the worst things ever. In each one of these scenarios, I was saved. I didn't tell you when I was telling you the story, but I'm gonna tell you now. In each one of these scenarios, except the one at my mother's house, each one of these scenarios, I was saved. The scenario with the man by my bed, it all of a sudden I see my husband, which I don't really think is my husband. It's, I think, either an angel or a spirit guide or something that is helping me. Because there's a specific look you have when it's not really your loved one. They have something with the eyes. It looks different. There's something different about the eyes. It's almost googly like a googly black eye. I know I sound crazy right now. But I feel like, shoot a comment below if you've ever seen this, where you see an entity in a different realm and they have those eyes. It's like a darker looking eye and they're weird and they're very round. So you could tell that this was not my husband. So he had taken the guy and he had tied his hands behind his back and taken him to the living room. And the entire time the guy kept saying, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And then I woke up with The woman that was in my kitchen, in that scenario, my dad was staying with me to help me take care of the baby in real life. In that scenario, all I felt, like, as I was on the floor crawling towards the baby, I felt my dad's leg brush up against me, and I saw him from behind, walking towards the kitchen. And then she disappeared and I woke up. So both instances, I was saved by someone that was in my house in real life, but it wasn't really them. Do you know what I mean? That was the situation that I had at that time. And then there was a third scenario where I was at my husband's grandmother's house, and I was sleeping there because my husband was doing night shifts. And at that point, I went into a sleep paralysis and I couldn't move. So I kept yelling out her name. And he's Greek, so I kept saying, yeah, 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 yeah. And I kept screaming her name, like, really. And whenever I say screaming, I mean I was trying to scream. I kept saying, yeah, 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 yeah. Because you know, if you have sleep paralysis, you cannot speak. So I was yelling out her name, and then all of a sudden I see her walking towards me. She grabs my hand, she draws a cross in my hand, and then I wake up. I'm freed again. And to me, again, I have a situation that I'm in, and someone that I'm sleeping with, like in that house, is saving me. So here's the weird thing. The only place that I did not get saved was my mom's house. And my mom's house is the only house out of these 3 houses that isn't blessed. So my grandmother and Frank's grandmother's house and my house, they're both blessed by a priest. And her house isn't blessed by anything, like, as in, like, she's not really big on religion. So, like, whether it's any religion, she just hasn't had the house blessed. I found it interesting that in that house, the one house that it wasn't blessed, I wasn't saved by anything. Do you know what I mean? So I find that super interesting. And if you guys know me, you guys know that I'm a religious person. And one of the things that I actually spoke to you guys about on my Instagram channel is that one of the ways that you guys can come out of sleep paralysis is by praying. Now, whatever religion you are or whatever prayer brings you comfort, I believe that it doesn't matter. It just matters on what brings you comfort specifically. So anything that involves God, no matter what your religion, I believe will bring you out of this sleep paralysis. Okay guys, that's my time. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, if you or anyone that you know has been pregnant and has had similar experiences to mine or something with heightened spiritual awareness, please shoot a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.